Hey guys, what's up? My name is Alina. I'm a spiritual life coach and a manifestation coach and a Reiki master. So today, I want to get into, in my opinion, there's two main ways to manifest, to go about embodying the new identity, the new you, killing off the old ego, however you want to call it. I've seen two main ways that I feel. Okay, there's a more masculine way, and when I'm talking about masculine, feminine, I'm not talking about male, female, necessarily gender. I'm not getting into that. Just the energy. Just terms of energy. Masculine versus feminine. The more masculine way is affirmations, persisting, going after it hardcore, like nonstop battling your thoughts. Like hardcore. Going after them, trying to kill off that old ego. Like in a very brief period of time. So every time you get a contradictory thought going, no, I am this way. No, it is this way. No, 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 no. Like really hardcore going after it. The other way is a more feminine way, feminine energy way. It's a more organic way, which is kind of the way I went about it. It's a longer process, but it's more natural to you. It feels more natural. It's a process that comes about through meditation, through breath work, through journaling, through working on yourself, through reading the books, yada yada. I did it the longer path, the more natural feminine way, and it's sort of like things have just come up and been uncovered throughout the process. It's not something I've had to like go after super hardcore, like nonstop. There was contradicting my thoughts, battling my thoughts, and kind of fighting them and gently redirecting them. But you hear about some people that they're like, in 2 weeks, I completely changed. I just affirmed, and it all changed. And that's awesome. This is not it's not a pro versus con. This is simply two different ways. You get to pick, you get to choose what feels right for you. For me, it was harder because, my mind kept going off on different directions and I had a lot of years of reprogramming to do. So for me, it was more of an organic, softer, slower, gentler, longer process to change, to rewire my mind. Because that's all manifestation is. I think we get too caught up in some of these esoteric concepts. We can get up, and I can go into that and go off on different tangents. We can sort of get caught up in what manifestation is. We make that term really a lot crazier, a lot bigger than it really needs to be. What it boils down to is simply rewiring your mind. Some people were born and brought into this world having a much easier time manifesting because they have a positive self-concept, because they assume that things will work out for them, because they naturally have more positive programming. Some people, like I would say myself, I like to think of myself, I've always been optimistic, but I've definitely had my demons and my battles in my mind. Some people, it takes longer because you're more into the negative, you're always assuming the worst. Maybe you're a more anxious person like myself. I used to be very, very anxious as a kid and well into my adult years. And so for me, it's been a longer process unfolding because I've had to rewire my mind. Again, that's all it is. It's rewiring at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. Scripting, affirmations, subliminals, visualizations, meditation, does not matter what method you choose. It's not about the method. All you're trying to do is rewire your mind. And when you rewire your mind, everything starts falling into place. It gets easier. You get the ball rolling. You get the momentum going. And suddenly it's like super easy to manifest stuff. I've come to realize how really stupid simple it is. It's just that some of us are more pre-programmed, anxiety, trauma, whatever it is. You don't need to dwell on what it is or why. But some of us, we are more wired for that negative self-concept, the gloom and doom, the fearing the worst kind of mentality. Other people were lucky and they didn't have to spend years deprogramming or unlearning all of these things. It's all part of our spiritual journey. It's a natural evolution anyway. So whether you want to get after it with a more masculine kind of way, like going at it hard, like every single time you have a contradictory thought going, no, it's this way, no, it's this way. Or like the robotic affirming all day long and then doing like intentional affirming, and you can get quicker results if you go at it like super hard like that. But sometimes if your mind likes to wander and be a little ADHD, you forget and you don't realize, you don't catch yourself. It takes practice to catch yourself and to catch these thoughts because it's so on autopilot. However we're programmed, it's so on autopilot that there's a learning curve with it. So just be patient with yourself. You know, you're gonna find yourself going way off and having all these thoughts, and then you're gonna feel like crap, and then be like, wait a minute, why do I feel like crap? And then you're gonna start realizing, oh, what was I just thinking about? And then you catch yourself and you go, okay, gotta snap back to it and work on those thoughts. But when it's on autopilot, it just takes some time in the beginning. So be gentle with yourself, be loving, be kind, and don't get pissed off if after like 3 days you don't have your manifestation. Just the key is, I've said it before, I'll say it again, consistency, and never give up. Don't give up on it. It's a process. For me, what helped was meditating. Again, I'm going to tell you to meditate in probably every single video I make. You don't want to hear it, but it's a must. It's a must. So that kind of organically brought about all these limiting beliefs that I had that I have been unlearning and realizing, is this like a true fact, or is this just something I believe because I've heard it over and over again? And then when you start picking away at that, you start realizing, like, you see examples of other people and you're like, well, why doesn't it affect them? And then you start realizing this isn't actually a fact. It's just like a belief that I've had. And Abraham Hicks says, what is a belief? It's just a thought you've continued to think. So you're rewiring, you're going to start thinking the new thoughts, start believing the new thoughts. The other thing I want to say is, initially, it's going to feel like you're lying to yourself. Whatever you're doing, scripting, affirmations, any of the things, like guided meditations, visualizations, blah, blah, blah. It might feel a little bit at first like, this is bullshit, I don't really believe what I'm saying. It's okay. That's okay. Don't let that stop you. Just keep going, because eventually, again, we're carving a new groove kind of in your brain. So it's just going to take time and repetition. Eventually you will start to believe it, then you'll start to see evidence of it, and then when you get that, it just snowballs, because then it clicks, and you're like, oh, this is how it works, and it just builds and builds and builds. So it's your choice, whichever way you want to do it. You can go at it hardcore, the more masculine way, like I said, and kill off that old identity, that old ego, and every time it pops up, you're like, no, I'm this person now. No, I'm this identity. No. Or you can do the softer, kind of more gentler. It's going to take some time, but it's okay, because it'll feel good. It'll feel better, in my opinion. Like I said, it depends on how quick you want to do this and I think it depends on your personality type. I'm not one that would do well with like a drill sergeant. I need like a softer, gentler kind of approach. So for me, with meditation, when I receive guidance, when I receive downloads, it's always this like very gentle, loving, soft kind of nudge in the right direction. It never feels harsh. It never feels judgmental. It's always this very soft, loving understanding that I've come to. And that's how I know it's coming from my higher self and not my ego. I get this visual when I think about the ego, because this is what's blocking all of us. Whenever we say we can't manifest, or, we don't know how or when, or yada yada, that's always your ego. Which isn't a bad thing. It's just trying to protect you, and it's trying to make you feel safe and do what you're used to doing. But I get this visual that it's like our ego is this thing right in the middle. So it's on the left and the right side. You're meditating, you're working on yourself, you're trying to get, and this like light is trying to come down in the middle, and you're not able to receive it because you've got ego on the other side, like blocking it. So you almost want to ask your ego to step to the side, and then you can fully receive. So if that's a visualization that works for you, if you're a visual person, that's a great way to do that. In Reiki, I learned one of the like opening prayers that I learned when I'm trying to get the Reiki to channel through me is I ask that my ego step to the side so that I may be a clear channel. So that's why I get that visual, I think. So it's like the light is coming down. I'm asking my ego, please step to the side so the light can just fill me. And when the light fills through me, when my higher self, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, let's not get caught up in wordplay, when it comes through you, it will guide you into certain actions, to certain steps, to have that trust. And that's what will get you to your manifestation. Sitting there thinking about, well, how am I going to make this money? Well, how am I going to get that new car? Well, how am I going to get that job? How am I going to get that person, that love, that friend, that whatever it is you're trying to manifest? That's what's stopping you every time, is that ego. Because the human brain is trying to figure it out. And all that does is just mess it up. It's just getting in the middle. just getting in the middle and messing with it. So for me, the biggest shift was like when I said, please, God, universe, higher self, soul, source, again, it doesn't matter the words, please allow my ego to get out of the way. And then I just kind of like receive. And then I'll be driven to go do something, to go read this book, to go sign up for this class, or, ask this question, or it'll just give you that guidance because you're getting out of the way. And then the universe knows, okay, I don't have to battle with this ego, this person. I can just work through this vessel and work through it and get what needs to get done. So the ego is one of the biggest things, I think. What else am I going to say about ego? That's the other thing. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, wants to work for the greater good. So that's why a lot of times we are our own obstacle, because we have our agenda. We think, I want this pile of money, and this is my idea for how to get it, and it has to be this way. And when you do that, you're going to block yourself every time. A lot of times I would think, well, I don't want to surrender. I don't want to give up. Like, I don't want to take some job that I don't really want to do. Like, I went to school for psychology, and I really quickly realized that I did not want to be doing that because I was just taking on everybody's problems. So every psychic I would go to, every healer, they'd be like, oh, you'd be a great therapist, great psychologist. And I had this resistance, like, I don't want to give up and, my dreams, my ideas, and just do something like that. Like, I know I'd be helping people, but I feel like I'd be destroying myself at the same time because I would just be worrying about all these people I was working with and that kind of a thing. So for a long time I had to battle that, like, well, letting go of my ego means I'm going to have to do something I really don't want to do. But that is not the case at all. Spirit, God, the universe knows your likes and your dislikes. It knows what your talents, skills, and abilities are. It knows what you would be happy doing. So you have to kind of surrender what your idea is of what you'd be doing. And once you do that, it's like you have infinite resources helping you every step of the way. And it's getting you actually to what you want. Because you'll be fulfilled. Like, the money will come, all the things will come because you'll have that support from the universe, because you're getting your ego out of the way, you're trusting the path, you're knowing, like, that, you're getting that support, you're doing that to help and to be of service to others. Sometimes I think we hear that, like, oh, being of service to others means, like, I'm going to be miserable, or myself, like I'm going to have to do some job that I don't want to do, or I'm going to have to be poor, or this or that. It's not. You have to let go and break up with that idea, because that's not what it is. The universe always knows, your higher self always knows exactly what you want and how to get you there for your specific way. So the more you can just keep reminding yourself, okay, ego, step out of the way. Ego, step out of the way. Universe, please guide me. I'm open. It's like just stuff will take off at warp speed, and you'll get all the help on all the resources to get you what you want. The other thing is, a lot of people talk about, well, I have to be happy where I am. You have to be happy where you are. And for the longest time, I didn't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I'm like, so that means that I'll never get to really experience life, and I'll just be stuck in this, the same place my whole life, and just working some job that I don't want to do, because I have to be happy where I am now. I have to be happy where I am now. I can't, no, one doesn't cancel out the other. You can try to work on being happy where you are now. And when you do that by working on yourself, by meditating and all those things, your circumstances change. Like, it's not like you're just suddenly okay with being poor or something like that. It's like, I don't know, life becomes more fulfilling. Colors become brighter. I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you start elevating and you get that higher vibration. It's not just that, like, oh, I'm so grateful for what I have. Yes, you do have gratitude. But it's also like your circumstances literally change around you to make you happier. It's this weird thing that happens. So the more you can surrender your ego and some of your ideas about the how, the better, and the faster you'll get there. Okay? I think that's all I have for today. So you get to choose the more masculine, faster way, the harder, going at it, killing off the ego, affirm, or the kind of gentler, affirming when you remember, subliminals, just trying to feel as good as you can every single day doing something that you enjoy. Either way, it's going to get you there, and you have to choose what works best for you. Okay, that's it. All right, like and subscribe.